Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to be ranking and rating all five Indiana Jones films. Hope you enjoy. That flyer was so moving. Alright, so I'm just gonna go in order of the way the movies came out. Starting out with Raiders of the Lost Ark. Obviously, I'm going to move Raiders into the number one slot because it's the first one, it's perfect. Can't outdo it. I'm going to rate that a 10 out of 10 for several different reasons. I mean, it's the first Indiana Jones film, so the way the structure set up for movies are, a lot of films pulled from these films, just like this film pulled from other films, and were like based off of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg's like favorite movies. You could tell just they had so much love for this character, and they knew how to write an adventure movie, and it's just perfect. It's perfect. Raiders of the Lost Ark is perfect, and it's got Marion in it as well, which you can't go wrong with Marion. All the other female leads, they're a little iffy in all the other Indiana Jones films, but Marion, she's the perfect gal for Indiana Jones. I think she did great in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, as well as Crystal Skull, Karen Allen. I think she did great as the role of Marion, and yeah. So the first film just sets up that character perfectly, and she's kind of missing in the other films, to be honest. Raiders of the Lost Ark had that classic opening scene with Alfred Molina and Indiana Jones going into that cavern, taking the golden skull, and then Alfred Molina gets killed, and Indiana Jones is running away from like the boulder and everything. Yeah, just like a perfect opening sequence. Perfect opening action sequence. Like never seen that before. And I know that I didn't grow up on these movies, but that scene alone I've seen replicated so many times or talked about in so many different other shows like Family Guy. I've never seen Simpsons, but I've seen like clips of Simpsons. Yeah, it's just been replicated so many times. And I was really astonished when Alfred Molina showed up when I finally watched it for the first time in my reaction, which you can go back and watch. But yeah, when Alfred Molina showed up for the first time, I was like, "Oh fuck, that's Alfred Molina." But yeah, perfect opening scene. Raiders of the Lost Ark also, it's just a perfect blend of how dark Indiana Jones can be, which we'll see even more of in Temple of Doom, and how fun Indiana Jones can be. So the first film's just a perfect setup. And then leading us into Temple of Doom, we've got Ki Hu Kwan, and we've got, I can't think of her name, but Steven Spielberg's wife, who played Willie. The Willie character was kind of annoying, to be honest. I did not enjoy her at all. There were a few moments where like she actually saved Indiana Jones. She did save Indiana Jones quite a bit, but it always took her so fucking long to actually react and do anything. And it was just kind of annoying the whole time. Ki Hu Kwan though, he was perfect as Short Round, and I love that character so much. He was so funny and so adorable, and I'm so glad that Ki Hu Kwan is finally getting the appreciation he deserves. That opening dance sequence with Willie was very bizarre. Wasn't expecting that at all. That was very bizarre and weird. Didn't really know what to feel about that dance sequence. Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. Um, and it shows that Steven Spielberg does have a thing for musicals. I can't think of that movie, but Steven Spielberg directed that new musical. He does great with actual dance sequences, you know. He can pull off some dance sequences in some movies. Opening sequence for Temple of Doom, I just yeah, it was a little too much. And I'm not blaming the Willie character on that actress at all. I think it's just the way that George Lucas wrote her. Didn't like the writing of that character. And this one is a prequel to Raiders, so that one was cool that we got. You can kind of see that within the movie, because within Temple of Doom, like Indiana Jones is stumbling a little bit more than he was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He hadn't got like his whole footing for the adventure yet. So yeah, you could tell that he's just a little bit more experienced in Raiders of the Lost Ark and even more experienced in Last Crusade. So I did enjoy that they did bring that aspect to life, and like you can tell it's a prequel if you go back and look and watch Temple of Doom before Raiders of the Lost Ark. They actually take the time to develop this character and how much love they have for this character in the first three films. We'll talk about the other two films here in a little bit, but the first three films, they had so much love for this character. And you can really feel that. Alright, so I will move Temple of Doom into the third slot. Temple of Doom, I'm going to rate a 8 out of 10. It wasn't perfect like the other one. There were a few issues with it, like the Willie character, a little bit darker than the first one, which I enjoy actually, and it went up in my rating actually for it being darker. Yeah, it's still not as good as Raiders, but I still like it. I still enjoy it a lot. Last Crusade, I'm going to move into the second slot, and I'm going to rate it 9 out of 10. Now, some people think this one is, in their opinion, better than the first one. You know, okay, I can see that, to some extent, but I still like the first one a lot more. Like, I didn't know anything about Last Crusade until I sat here and watched it. But for Temple of Doom and for Raiders of the Lost Ark, I had at least seen or heard of things about it. People say it's their favorite, but I didn't know anything about Last Crusade. And I've been alive for 25 years now. Yeah, I enjoyed Last Crusade. I'm not saying that it's like bad or anything. I think it's better than Temple of Doom, in my opinion, but I don't think it's better than the original Indiana Jones. I did like that they brought in Sean Connery as Indiana Jones' father, Henry Jones, and I did like that we finally got a background and history of where Indiana Jones came from. But then the Holy Grail thing, also why I don't like Dial of Destiny as much, is you have all this build up, but then when you finally get to like the Holy Grail, all they do is drink it, you know? Yeah, the one dude drinks from one wrong cup. He then melts away and dies. And then Indiana Jones, he's like, oh, all right, my turn. Walks up there, grabs the first cup, drinks it, nothing happens. Like, you would think they would at least build on the suspension more, you know? Have Willie, or not Willie, it's not Willie. I can't think of that character's name in The Last Crusade, but have that female side character try a cup. Build up the suspension more. You drink from the cup and nothing happens, and then his father heals from that same cup. Like, the suspension just wasn't there towards the end of Last Crusade, like I was hoping to be, like it was in Temple of Doom. And that's kind of my disappointment for Dial of Destiny as well. But we'll get to that here in a minute. Moving on to Crystal Skull. Crystal Skull. Now this is my fifth film, my last film in the ranking. I placed it at the bottom. You know why? Like there's just things wrong with it. I really enjoyed it as a kid, and I still really enjoyed it when I rewatched it with my reaction the other day, a couple weeks ago actually, or not. No, it's been a week. Anyway, I still really enjoyed the Crystal Skull. I do think it fits with the Indiana Jones world. Other people say that it doesn't really fit, but I think it fits quite nicely. I mean, you've got Raiders, which is about the Lost Ark. You've got Temple of Doom, which is about stone with powers. You've got Last Crusade, which is about the Holy Grail that gives you healing powers if you drink from it. Fourth one, Crystal Skull, is about aliens. Like, where else would you have taken it? I think the alien thing fit perfectly. And with it being 2008, like, you had a lot of alien movies, so I see where they're coming from. Taking it to aliens next. But with that being said, there were still things wrong with, like, why did Shia LaBeouf's character become Tarzan all of a sudden and start swinging with monkeys? Or why did Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, hide in a refrigerator during the nuclear bomb? Or like, we got a scene in was it the Crystal Skull? Yeah, it was the Crystal Skull. Shia LaBeouf throws a giant snake at Indiana Jones to pull him out of the quicksand. Oh, I don't think it's quicksand. It's dry sand. They explain that in the movie. But he throws a snake and they have to yell at him to grab the snake by calling it a rope, which was weird, and I still don't fully understand the scope of why Indiana Jones is scared of snakes. Like in The Last Crusade, you also see him fall into a pile of snakes when he was young, and you could see that he wasn't scared. So, like, it still never gives us an explanation of why Indiana Jones is scared of snakes. But yeah, there's still a few things wrong with it, like those three things that I've mentioned. I know the CGI is a little wonky. The CGI doesn't really bother me. I do know the CGI bothers other people. And that's going to move us into Dial of Destiny, which will be the fourth in my ranking video. I'm going to rate this also a 6 out of 10. Now, it is a little bit better than Crystal Skull. It also makes me question a lot more. That's not how you should end a sequence of movies. Like, this is supposed to be the end of Indiana Jones, and it just left me with lots of questions. I like the way they started out the film, and I like the way that, yeah, that it was leading, but then the execution of the film and the second and third act was kind of just a whole mess. So the first 20 minutes with all the CGI young Indiana Jones, I enjoyed all that. I enjoyed us going back and getting to fight the Nazis again. We get a background with a new character, a friend of Indiana Jones that we've never met before, and then it leads us into the present day with Indiana Jones being an old man that's very grumpy and yelling at his neighbors. All of a sudden, we get introduced to this Phoebe Waller character. I can't think of the character's name, but Phoebe Waller's character. We get introduced to her, and like everyone else has been saying in their reviews, she's kind of an asshole at the beginning. Yeah, she's kind of an asshole to Indiana Jones, and I don't know why they decided to go with that character for this film. I think I could have done better and given a better story than this. This whole film, with it being the final Indiana Jones fifth and final film, this should have been Sal, Shorthand, and Indiana Jones going on one last adventure. Should have been those three going on an adventure together. Don't know what it is. Don't know what the adventure would be. Keep it time travel if you want. Keep it with the Dial of Destiny. But it should have been those three characters. Sal's been with Indiana Jones for most of the films, or made an appearance in most of the films, at least. Shorthand, like they tried to bring in a replicate to Shorthand. They tried to bring in a copycat of Shorthand, dude. The kid that was with Phoebe Waller's character, he was basically just a copycat of Shorthand. They should have just brought Ki Hu Kwan back. They should have brought him back. They should have brought Sal. Like, Sal had already had that line that we'd seen from the trailers saying, you know, we want to go on. I'm bored. I'm tired. I just want to go on one last adventure, basically. So there's a perfect setup right there. Just need Indiana, Sal, Ki Hu Kwan, and then if you want, you can bring back Marion. And then why in the world did you have to end Mutt's life? Like, why'd you have to send him to war into Mutt's life? You could have just kept him around. Just say he had a family, he's off with his new family, or you could have brought him into the adventure as well. Whole full cast of Marion, Mutt, Sal, Indiana, and Shorthand. Have a whole adventure film with all five of them. There you go. Perfect film. I don't know why they chose to go this route. Add a new character and then make her an asshole pretty much the entire first half of the film. The second half, she starts kind of growing on you, but then she just punches Indiana Jones at the end, which I don't like that ending as well. Punch him and bring him back. Why not just let him live there? That would have been a great ending. Just let him live there with Archimedes, and then cut back to present day, see all the effects that Indiana Jones being in the past has changed. It's just a weird film. Dial of Destiny is a weird film, and it's very long. It is way too long. They did not take the structure of Indiana Jones at all. I actually forgot about this. I just reminded myself of it. But even Disney Plus, going back to the Ki Hu Kwan thing, Disney Plus brought a special look for the Dial of Destiny, and they brought Ki Hu Kwan back for the special look for Dial of Destiny, but they didn't let him appear in the film. How fucked up is that, dude? But anyway, Dial of Destiny, rating it 6 out of 10, rating it a 4, or ranking it a 4 on my list of all 5 films. I'm going to actually give you a better rating quality. I'm going to start doing this in my videos. I just came up with this graphic, and I'm going to start doing this in all my movie reviews, but I want to see how you guys think of it for the Dial of Destiny. So I will say that I've replicated this based on 3C Films reviews. Don't come at me saying I stole this. I just want to let you know I did replicate this off of 3C Films, but I didn't steal the entire thing. So I'm going to rate Dial of Destiny. For the action, I'm going to say 10 out of 10. There was a lot of action in this film, to be honest. Way too much action, I think. And not enough adventure, just like I said in my other non-spoiler review. There was a lot of fighting, we got like 5 different fighting sequences, I think, and there wasn't a whole lot of actually exploring and adventuring. Comedy, I'm going to rate a 4 out of 10 for this film. It was funny at parts, but it wasn't as funny as any of the Indiana Jones films. I would say that this one is even less funny than Crystal Skull. The drama, I'm gonna say 6 out of 10. I didn't really like any of the Phoebe Waller stuff, but I did really enjoy all the old man Indiana stuff. I did really enjoy all that, and I wish they would have kept with that at the beginning and then like switch into, it being with Sal and Shorthand and them being older as well, and then them kind of like, yeah, they should have done that as the film. Last adventure film, we had Sal, we had Shorthand, and we had Indiana Jones all becoming older, all realizing that they don't have much life left, so they want to have this one last huge big hurrah, so they go on this last adventure together. There's your film. That's all you needed. Suspense, I didn't really think it was suspenseful at all. um there was a few things, just like all the old Indiana Jones, where like Indiana jumping from car to car, all that stuff was kind of just unbelievable as well, with how old Harrison is. Suspense, I'm gonna do 2 out of 10. Horror, I'm gonna do 0 out of 10. I recommend watching this at home with your friends. I really enjoyed going to the theaters, but it's a very long movie, and I went by myself, and I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I went to the theater with friends or waited and watched it here at home with friends. Here's my ranking list. I ranked Raiders as first place, Last Crusade as my second, Temple of Doom as my third, Die of Destiny as number 4, and Crystal Skull as number 5. There's my ranking, there's my ratings for the films, and I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day. Alright, bye bye.